Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Student to Life podcast, where learning and unlearning has no limits. I'm your host, Stretch, and I have some very special people with me today. I have my very good friend, Latifa is here with me today. She's not Tifa today, she's Latifa.
Oh, gosh.
Latifa Brown is here with us.
Hi. I'm behaving like Latifa today.
And also, we're here at the beautiful Island Space Museum, the Caribbean Museum right here in Broward Mall. I need everybody to come by and check it out because it's very informative. There's a lot of great artifacts in here, teach you a lot about the Caribbean. And we have the, what would you call it?
Co-founder and board president.
Board president and co-founder, Miss Calibe.
Calibe,
sorry.
Calibe.
Okay, I'm coordinating with the Caribbean, so I'm saying Caribe.
Everybody does
so
that. It's all
Calibe Thompson.
Yes, sir.
So, Miss Calibe, let's start with you first. Tell us a bit about you. Where were you born, raised, school?
I was born on a beautiful island called Jamaica, in a town called St. Andrew, or city, or parish, whatever. And I went to Immaculate. Immaculate, if you're in Jamaica, you know, Immaculate is like a prissy girls' school. So I did that until Campion for sixth form. The American people don't know what that is, but sixth form is a thing that you do before university. I went to UTech. I got a degree in architecture, and then I ran off to go sing with Beanie Man, and it was in my life as a singer that I
was
met.
just about to put her on spot, when me know Calibe artist.
Right, so...
me as a Calibe on ITV and RTV, and them give me big artist.
Back in the day, different life.
Well, you got me there, because I didn't see that coming.
I thought you did your research.
I tried to, I didn't go that far.
Last week she was like, do you remember me? I'm like, this girl.
No, you have different chapters of your life, you know? That was a different chapter.
We're going to talk a little bit more about that, too. Especially since Tifa is here and she has some other issue that we'll get to hear about.
We'll come back there. But if we're doing the biography synopsis, I ran off and went and sang with Beanie Man. I toured with him for almost 2 years. I was on tour with Kevin Little for almost 2 years. I was on tour with Kimani Marley for a year and change. And then I came off stage one day and somebody pushed a microphone in my hand. And I started hosting this little local TV show in South Florida until I ended up producing the show. And I eventually became the first Jamaican producer to have a national series on PBS in the U.S.
What was the name of it?
Taste the Islands.
Taste the Islands, okay.
Yeah, with Chef Irie. So we were
Chef Irie too.
Yeah, man. Everybody knows Chef Irie. So we were in 48 states plus something like that, 48 states with the TV show. That ended up kind of piggybacking into the Tasty Islands experience. That was a culinary event that we had. We did it for 3 years. We're going to do the fourth one next year. We took a break
you're still with
COVID.
it? Okay.
Yeah, man. We took a break during COVID. And during that COVID break, some of the grants that we had, like we had this money sitting around and we couldn't do the events and we couldn't do the stuff because everybody was locked up.
Right.
And for some reason, the Community Foundation of Broward, who gave us that grant, permitted us to open this museum in the middle of COVID. I don't know what we were thinking, but anyway, open this museum in the middle of COVID. And here we are, almost 4 years later with this amazing space that we've created.
It is an amazing space, yes.
It is pretty amazing. That's not my day job. My day job is I'm a publisher and a, video, still do some video production. But I'm a publisher in my daily life, creative consultant, so to speak.
Can you explain a little bit more of what that is?
Because I was coming out of television and my business partner, David Muir, Sexy Man, for those who know him, that's his name.
You're there.
Right. He was in photography, I was in video, and when we started doing the event together, we started publishing a print magazine called Island Origins. And with the kind of slate of creative services that we were providing, we just, created a company. The company was called Island Syndicate, or is called Island Syndicate, and we offer those kinds of marketing content services. So we're not necessarily the media buyers or whatever, but we'll create a beautiful video for you, or an amazing book, or a magazine, or print program, or whatever, anything to do with that kind of creative content. And
you're also an author.
I am also an author. Sometimes I trip over my tongue, but I write a good sentence. Somebody said that girl can write a sentence. Yes, so I write more articles than books, but I do have 3 or 4 cookbooks that I have participated in the writing of, and then the second Pieces of Jamaica book that my business partner did. It started off as a picture book, but I have to put stories into whatever I like being a storyteller. You know, that's how you get into songwriting and everything like that, to tell stories. Even with this museum project, it feels like a telling of the story of where we all came from, and that's what makes it special to me, learning and understanding those stories from our perspective and being able to tell them back to
I think you're achieving that pretty well, right? I think so.
See, you're pretty much an arts superwoman with an architecture degree.
Sure, I'll take it.
No, it's a lot. But it's a little bit more than that if you think about it.
Got it. That's why I said superwoman. I said superwoman.
Right. Come here,
I
right?
said
The artist
superwoman.
part, like, it's like your resume is
That's why I
like.
said arts, yeah. That's why I said, remember I said the arts is like
Yeah,
not just,
wide,
so I said the arts superwoman with, because I heard her saying nothing about the architecture degree and using it. I was,
I practiced interior design for interior design for maybe a year before I went off to go sing.
Okay.
But that was it.
I mean, that explains the place, the interior.
But I'll tell you, when you go to architecture school, they will tell you most of you in this class are not going to end up being architects. You'll take the skills that you learn, because you have to go to art school. You learn, drawing and spatial layouts. You learn a bit of graphic arts. And then how to just conceptualize. Have you ever heard the term begin with the end in mind?
Yeah.
You have to do that with architecture. You build a mod before you dig one hole or whatever. You have to build a whole model of what it is that you're doing and envision the finished product. And so that skill set has very much helped in creating this, because this is not the final product.
Right.
We are going to have something, for me, the size of the Perez Art Museum in downtown Miami.
it's going to evolve.
Oh yeah, man.
Yes.
I mean, trying to represent almost 30 Caribbean countries in this little teeny tiny space, not realistic.
That 30 sounds like a lot still.
It's a lot.
You think about it.
It's a lot. Yeah.
But I hated technical drawing, so I didn't even think about it. I chose it only because my friend them did do it, and I regret it because it's the only one I didn't take in CXC. I passed electrical, mechanical engineering, all these things, and I was like, should I take a cooking class or home economics?
You went to a co-ed school?
I went to Edwin Allen.
I don't know.
That's in Clarendon.
Okay. Well, Immaculate is a girls' school, and we didn't have the option.
You didn't have the option. I went to all girls school also, and would have to go like an extra class to do it, because I was also interested in doing it.
Wow, okay.
And then I ended up just doing basic art and just...
So I never touched...
So wait, our girls' school is limited?
Yes.
Somewhat.
Very.
Because we had everything. We had arts, we had culinary stuff, we had home economics, we had electrical, mechanical.
No, at that time it was just the basics for us.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it's because it's co-ed. So we had like home economics, we had the sewing, we had
learn all the stitch them.
yeah, we learned the stitch. I remember
But we learned that too.
girls, yeah, because it's not co-ed.
Right.
But then in terms of that, we never had technical drawing. We just had the basic maths, physics, chemistry, biology, like the basic
No
stuff.
woodworking.
But don't you guys consider that kind of unfair though?
Very.
It was.
It was a problem.
Because for us, it was just kind of the same thing, because us doing certain classes as men, we were looked at as the feminine type dudes that do those classes.
I wanted to do it, but I mean, it's a lot. And especially now, like, I don't think people understand the emphasis that schools, nothing wrong with schools, but schools place on you at such an early age for stuff that you don't, half of the stuff that you don't really even use in life today. Because I remember I did 9 subjects.
Right.
And then forgot to kind of 10th with the technical drawing.
Yeah.
And then, you have to go extra class. Them are going to say, you go extra
school,
class.
yeah.
And then it's a lot. You know what I
And
mean?
coming here, we're seeing the kids, they're so spoiled, complaining about 4 subjects. And I'm like, bro,
Do they have 4 subjects? Like, it's what, SAT?
something like that. Yeah.
So I must have a pass some SAT.
Yeah.
And then when we had to go to sixth form, because it's a thing for us to go to sixth form,
Yeah.
and then pass the A-levels, and then by this time, though, you want to go foreign, so you're going to take the SATs along with the A-levels to go. It's a lot. It was a lot.
And then I think I told myself I wasn't going to go to sixth form, by the way. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. But I think if I was in Jamaica, though, I would have to, because I wanted to go to UTech.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I didn't, because I didn't want to do any of this mechanical engineering stuff. I didn't want to do any of it. I did it because my friends were doing it. I passed it because my friends were doing it. Okay, so now we're gonna touch on the space, the island space museum. We're gonna talk about how you spoke a little bit about how it came about, but where did the idea come from to start a museum?
So, as long as I've been in South Florida, I've been hearing people floating this idea of doing some kind of Caribbean something, right? It was a library, it was a, I heard about a Jamaican museum, you have the little Haiti cultural center, you have all these little things that typically will gear toward one community or another community. When I came to South Florida, for some reason, I became first very Jamaican. Like you couldn't see me and not in my ice green and gold. And no, not right. Sorry, my black, green and gold. My black, green and gold. And then I became very Caribbean for some reason. Like, Dr. Claire Nelson said to me when we were putting this thing together, she said the Caribbean doesn't really exist until you hit somewhere like South Florida or New York or DC.
Right.
Because you're in Jamaica and you say, oh yeah man, we're in the Caribbean, you're really only talking about Jamaican people. And if you're in Haiti, you say Caribbean, you're really only talking about the people in your country.
Right.
We don't meet and interact with each other the way that Americans can just drive across the state line and you're in another state and so now you're around those other people. It's when you're in somewhere like this that I started to interact with and engage with the Haitian community and the Cuban community, whatever. And so I became just very passionately Caribbean for whatever reason. And in doing the television show, we, tried to make that happen. I actually, the show that I did on my own before the cooking show was the first version of Island Origins. It was a TV magazine. Okay. And so we were on SFL, the CW network down here. We were on Caribe Cast. We were, throughout the Caribbean and whatever those stations. It's Caribbean, One Caribbean and all those stations in the Caribbean. And then we did the culinary show, which was also very Caribbean focused. It was Chef Irie from Jamaica, but he would cook something from St. Vincent or, And the TV show took off so much that it ended up becoming an event. People were coming to South Florida and asking where's Chef Irie's restaurant, and he didn't have one. And so we were like, if you want to taste the same type of things that we produce on the show, we're going to do this event. And it all ties together. And so we're doing this event at History Fort Lauderdale was the venue. And they said to us, we have this room over here. Why don't you do a little museum or some kind of exhibit type of thing. And so we actually started as a culinary museum. And we went and borrowed things from Auntie Maisie, a lady named Auntie Maisie, that has like a bunch. She collected a whole bunch of artifacts. I think several of the things in here now actually belong to her. She bequeathed them to us. Auntie Maisie from Culture Clothes. And so she had loaned us a whole bunch of things. And we did like a little pop-up culinary museum. And that was how it started. We did the little pop-up, and Eddie Edwards from Jerk Festival, because nobody was going in there, and he went and poked his head in there and he said, I like this thing, you must bring it to the Jerk Festival. And so we brought the little pop-up to the Jerk Festival, and we have a picture of 3 generations of people. You saw a grandmother, you saw a mother, and you saw a child. That, and that picture remains in my head. Every time I look back at it, I'm like, that is where it started, because you're now seeing multiple generations of people engaging in something and connecting over something that you don't see anymore, but it still connects us, connects them, whatever. And so, we started doing these little pop-up museums all over, the culinary museums all over the place. And eventually, I don't know if I need to keep talking. Eventually.
You gave us the origin story.
The rundown.
The real inception story.
So, how do you choose?
I was just about to ask that.
Go ahead.
No, you ask a question. Like,
how do you actually choose what comes
into the museum?
Yeah.
Remember I said begin with the end in mind. So the story that we tell in the museum is a curated story. It starts with a section called The New World, because that's what Columbus called it when he claims he discovered, but he made his way over this side of the place. Yeah, that's what them claim, but we were here already, so some of us were here already.
Yeah.
So we broke it down into sections at the very beginning. It starts off with the New World, where we talk about the indigenous people and how the Europeans made their way here, how the Africans got here, how all of the various ethnic groups made their way to the original melting pot of the world. New York can say what they want to say, but the Caribbean was the original melting pot of the world. We tell that story. We talk about how we, the second section is called Evolved Identity. So how did we become the Caribbean? We're no longer European or African or whatever anymore. We're now Caribbean. And what does that identity look like, whether it's politics or home life or culinary or economies or any of that kind of thing. We then go into traditions like the carnivals, the religion, the folklore, that kind of thing. We get into to arts and entertainment with the sports and the music. And we end it off with this section that's Caribbean American. And it kind of just encapsulates where we are now. So we start at the beginning and we finish at the end.
Right.
And so things go where they fit in that story. We're not trying to have a little space that just belongs to Jamaica or just belongs to Haiti. We really try and make everything comprehensive. So when you bring in, when Tifa bring in somebody who have Spice outfit over there with the wig and the boots and everything, when Tifa drop in something going in the music section, whether it is from Tifa or from Michelle Montano or from Wyclef Jean or whoever, it's going to end up in that curated section.
Okay.
And we put things where they fit in the story.
So what if the space is full? How do you...
Sometimes things go back in a box and go back in the storage because we don't have enough space right now. I mean, we have a lot of wall space, so I think things are going to start climbing up the walls. But even that space, I mean, the viewers, the listeners can't see it, but there's a space over there that 3 months ago, it didn't look like that. It's starting to just we build shelves and things start to go up and they'll go up further on the wall. I'm sure like the Sean Paul platinum record and Egyptian gold record, as more things go up in the music section, they're going to go higher up on the walls. And so we just have to get creative with using the space.
I don't have a question per se, but it's more of a comment. So I came here last week for the first time, and I was so excited to see because I heard, Island Space. I'm here thinking, okay, it's going to be like a regular, yes, I mean, maybe to Bob Marley picture, whatever. And then I walked in, and then I was just like, whoa. Yeah. And I really love it because I think this generation coming up now, they say, I'm Jamaican, but I really don't know anything about Jamaica.
They know the music.
You know what I mean? Are most people looking and think, oh my God, we're going to Jamaica, let's go rafting. And I think that's Jamaica, you know what I mean? And we're in the black, green, and gold. And even a while ago, I was walking through the museum and I'm like, yo, that's a chimney.
Yeah, and an old sewing machine.
Yeah, I looked up and I was like, yo, that's a chimney. I remember I used to peeping in one chimney. My grandmother used to make me peeping out. Not even down a town.
Yeah.
I used to peeping at this.
People don't have a clue what.
Yeah, I used to peeping in an enamel chimney. When I see it, I'm like, yo, this place has a chimney. I don't think people understand what a chimney is. And then I looked again to the right and then I saw a lamp. And I'm like, that's the kerosene lamp, and I'm like, that's the original. Yeah. Same thing with my grandmother.
It don't have the home sweet home on it.
Oh, now the home sweet, but that's fine. That's fine. And I was just like, a lot of people don't even understand, like, to like regular people is just a chimney, but what it symbolizes, like a lot of people didn't have like a bathroom, simple, to just flush the chain, like, you know what I mean?
Nighttime come, you know, go outside.
Nighttime come, you can't go outside, you literally have to do your little thing in the chain, and it brought back so many memories.
For all the people out there, I have some information that you're gonna want to hear. I have the best rum on the market, the best line of spirits on the market for you. They're called Rude Boy Spirits. Go to Rude Boy Spirits on Instagram or go to rudeboyspirits.com to find out all the information you need to know. They got a coconut rum, they got a vodka, they got more things that you need to try. And this is Caribbean inspired, so everybody needs to go out here and try this, all right? Rude Boy Rum, Rude Boy Spirits, go check them out, all right? Peace.
People don't really understand, like, what it is to be Jamaican.
Right. I think
And
another thing is
are even a Caribbean person.
That's what I was gonna say to you, because one of the amazing things is that you will say that and think of it as a Jamaican, a Trinidadian person going to say, Lord,
yeah, we do that too.
and
And they have a different name for it. Exactly.
But that's what I was gonna say. I think even with Americans coming here, they could come and see how similar we are when it comes to our history, because Haitians have similar history, Trinidadians, everybody has similar history, something in their history that correlates with each other.
even Russian people and African people have come in here and said, oh my God, yeah, my grandmother. You know, everybody grandmother.
Right.
It's everybody grandmother. But everybody who comes in here sees something that they connect with. And I love to hear when parents come in with their children. We have these school field trips and things that come in, but we also have parents that come in with their children. And those are my favorite stories, because it's always, when they finish, you know, you don't
Story
understand
time.
how good you have it coming into this country. Regardless of the Spanish people, everybody has that same kind of almost a reprimand, but also like an encouragement of this life that we have all come to take for granted in America. The amenities, and the boy, I can just order something and it just show up on my doorstep. And you know, the things that we left behind in those countries that we still love so much, you know, that you go and you look at your chimney and you
And I don't mean to cut you in, it's not even us alone that left behind. Some people are still living in these countries, living in Jamaica, living in Haiti, and they have completely forsaken what it is that their culture is. You know what I mean? So
For you to go back to Jamaica, a lot of people don't even do traditional things
they're not the
anymore.
traditional things anymore. They're more got foreign. You know what I mean? So, and it's funny because I tell this story all the time. When I was born, my mother never knew what to name me. She didn't know what she wanted to call me. So I was literally Baby Miller for 2 weeks. Did not have a name for 2 weeks.
Even after you were born.
Did not have a name for 2 weeks, as Baby Miller for 2 weeks. And it was basically something like this, the museum, the institute downtown. She literally walked in. She's like, no. She literally walked in just a little inspiration, just a little, you know what I mean? Sanity. And she sat down and she started reading a book, and that's where she found my name.
Sure, that's good.
You know what I mean? So you never know when you come to these places. You never know when you come to these places what can happen, what
Speaking
can
of that, right?
Inspire you.
You know what I would love to see in here is some of my childhood books that we read, like Young Warrior. Like Young Warrior was one of my favorite books. Because I
know that one day.
Young Warrior, it was
Young Warrior.
talk about slavery, but in slavery where they had it was like the Maroons, where they were fighting from the trees and chase away the Spaniards or something like that. So it was a whole.
When a cow called Boy, you remember that name?
I don't even know that.
I remember Ricky Tikita. A mongoose.
Mongoose, I know.
No, man, no mongoose.
Yeah, I know mongoose.
New Drink with.
What other books from childhood would you say? I don't remember a lot of these books.
Anansi.
Mr. Biz was, well, childhood, that was like high school. House for Mr. Biz was, and
I don't know that one either.
oh my gosh, I don't remember the name of them, but
you must find some like Anansi stories.
Anansi stories, and even like show like some of the Hill and Gully rides, the Lime Tree
Lane was my thing.
Yeah, some of
And
them
Royal Palm.
Royal Palm, exactly, like, you know what I mean? The harder they come.
And even the life place. And the menu was.
One of the things that I love about being a part of this, that we're not doing it as well as we should as yet, but as we grow, it's one of the things that we want to have happen. When I like watching, I guess they call them period dramas or whatever. Like you're seeing the queens of England and the Rose,
I like watching them too.
And the whatever kind of queen and the Vikings and
Yeah, I love watching that stuff.
and we can watch these things and understand the history of the Norse gods and this and the royals and whatever. And we don't have any of that.
We don't.
I don't know nothing about Nanny other than the legend, the 2 or 3 little legends that you hear. We don't know anything about
Look at even Bridgerton and how all of a sudden everybody wants a Bridgerton theme parties. And it's a thing to have a Bridgerton party now.
I think even with the Young Warrior, I would encourage everybody to read it. If that turns into a movie, that would be a great movie.
I just had an idea.
Because while reading it, it's like I was playing it out in my head.
Right.
It's like I was reliving a lot of that stuff with them in that time.
I love that they took whatever they did with Black Panther and turned it into Wakanda and whatever, because it's an imagining. Even if that place didn't exist, it's an imagining of a history or a future, that could happen.
I mean, but to be honest, it kind of existed because that's where civilization started and all that. Where they went back to the Anunnaki people and
They didn't have flying cars. And all.
not flying cars, but they had advanced technology.
Right.
Because if you realize, they still cannot find who made the pyramid.
Right.
So the story is the Anunnaki
was
people
aliens.
aliens, but they were supposedly. It's in the Bible where they said they were the gods that came first, and then they created people to make the pyramids, and then they started to mate, and then the Anunnaki people ended up leaving, and then the people who they left behind, that's who started civilization. That's the story that they have.
Yeah.
But there's different stories of it. We don't want to get into that.
So I don't know if this is the right name to call it, but I'm thinking we should have like a culture fest,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And then where you do like, it's like where you have wife versus mate, like dance all baga baga. We could have like Arawaks versus Maroons.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
That side, if you're Arawak, you're just like Arawak. You know what I mean?
But there's still Arawak people.
No, that's what I'm
still,
saying.
yeah.
But I'm just like just simply because things like that.
Right.
I would just have a culture fest. I would have a just like we have a dance off or whatever. Arawak's over here, so Maroons over
I
there.
think
So.
I've just recruited you to my programming committee. And all
They
these
want everybody
No,
put them
no,
in committee.
Let me tell you something. When it comes to ideas,
Yes.
she just have
Welcome
them.
to the family.
Yeah,
Give time.
ideas and planning and
You know
yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
her.
Different. You could think like the Tainos versus who else?
The
You know what I
Caribs,
mean?
the Tainos and the Caribs. And then you can have some Maroons.
But I think some people have to be properly educated about these groups of people before we can actually really have that conversation, because we think we know, but there's deep-rooted histories that we really don't study.
True, we don't study them, but I am pleased to find out. Like you grow up in Jamaica and you hear about Arawaks and you feel like it's only you have Arawaks, right? But the Taino people exist in Jamaica and they exist in the Dominican Republic and they exist in Puerto Rico, and they're even more present in Puerto Rico because you see the little coqui and thing when you go there, and so they still have the story. They're still preserving the story.
There's like what 20-something tribes, if I'm not wrong. It's over 20 of them.
I don't-
Different Arawaks, Tainos, the people that own those casinos down here with Seminole.
Seminole,
They're
yeah.
one. There are a bunch of them. As I said, the conversation has to be had
Right,
about these different groups of people, because it's not just the Arawaks and the Tainos. There's just so many of them.
Well, the Caribbean ones versus the North Americans. And so,
There you go. Yeah. How long have you guys been here?
We have been in this location since we opened last April. We moved in between January and April, and then we were in a different location in the same mall.
Broward Mall. by the way.
Broward Mall, yes. But we were a few doors down at the former Red Robin location. It was set up like a restaurant though, so we couldn't really shape the space that the way we wanted, and it was kind of dark on the inside, so we couldn't show the art and whatever. When they moved us over to this space, it was unexpected, but we were able to do so much more inside of this space. I mean, you're seeing the beautiful art behind me, and we could, just curate everything in a more cohesive way. So. But 4 years, sorry.
4 years.
Yeah.
So they're located in Broward Mall, in the corner. What's that?
1202.
It's 1202, but nobody can find the 1202. It's closest to Broward and University.
Yeah.
So it's the northeast corner of Broward Mall.
It's to the right of
The-
Buffalo Wild Wings, right?
It's to the right of Buffalo Islands and up. Lord, it's
Further up from the movie theater.
If you, know
Regal.
if you know where the Sears is, where the old Sears building, it looks like it's under construction or past construction or something.
Right.
It's the entrance right by the construction.
But you will see a little flag outside.
The flag banners outside.
Banner that says Island Space.
Island Space.
Sometimes they don't make we leave it out. But, I'm
So-
having an event.
So I remember when I asked you about the space, you said it was a non-profit.
Yes.
Non-for-profit. So how does the raising of the funds come about now for something like this?
Yeah, people here are not for profit and feel like you don't have expenses and things.
Exactly.
This year our budget is $300,000. But exactly, where are you getting all that money from when you're not profit? Exactly, it's a lot of begging, right? It's a lot of. I've become very adept at grant writing. I am the most active volunteer you'll ever come across in your life because Island Space don't pay me. As I was saying to you, we have 2 full-time employees and a ton of amazing volunteers and a fairly active board of directors. But the money really comes from donations, grants, sponsorships, events, programming when we decide to charge for programming. As a nonprofit, a cultural nonprofit, you want to do things for the community. So oftentimes we're not charging people to come in for some events. A Nancy Festival, which is a children's reading festival, we didn't charge for. The book fair the other day, we didn't charge for. Rum Cake Festival and Mango Festival, if you come into that's like a $15, right?
Yeah.
But
Here?
Here we do that. We convert in here. We have like vendors along the walls, and we have this is our main gallery, and we have a big gallery in the back. So we'll have workshops and things back there. But you know it, and then reggae genealogy is our biggest thing for the year. All right, I want you can ask me about it. Right, but it is grants. That is where you write to the government or to a foundation or the state or the county or whoever, and they will bequeath certain amounts of money to
I like that word.
Yeah, man, it's a nice word. Right, so it bequeath quite a few.
I'm gonna have to Google it.
Over the years.
Bestow.
And then exactly. And then you go to corporations and you call up a Grace who has been seeing you grow over the years. You call up a FPL who likes to support community members. And I'm saying that in a very deliberate way. Not everybody who have a little project or doing like a thing, you're going, oh, Grace, Calibe, some of us come call here for FPL. They saw the work that we put in. They saw how much confidence we were getting from other organizations. And when people see others pouring into you, they feel a little bit more confident and comfortable.
To pour also.
Exactly, that you're not going to take their money and just disappear. And many organizations, many nonprofits pop up and they're doing all this great work and then they just disappear.
Right.
And we did the non-profit is 5 years old. The museum is 4 years old. The non-profit is Island Space. Island Society for the Promotion of Artistic and Cultural Education is the non-profit. We had our 5th year anniversary the other day, and somebody said from the Community Foundation of Broward, that same organization that I told you gave us that first grant that started everything. She got up and she said, we started them off with a little small grant. It was $5,000, little small grant, and we wanted to see what they were going to do, and they did this with it, and then they gave us a little more, and we did more with it, and then it grew and grew. And they had confidence in us, so much so that over the years they have given us, I won't say how much, but they felt comfortable to do it because every time they poured into us, we were able to pour back into the community. Yeah. And we showed them, we could show them pictures and video and people saying how much they learned and how, touched their whole family was and how they felt connected inside of this space. So I know my answers are long-winded. I hope
no, listen, it is like it's captivating. Like it's not like it's boring. Okay. Because I'd have been like, snooze.
We probably wouldn't be here if it was. So you explaining it, I see the passion, of course, which makes me even want to be a part of it even more.
Same here.
I donated, by the way. I donated $10.
Oh my God.
Ever make a mocha.
Thank you. And you're joining our programming marketing committee. Thank you. Hey, that's also a donation.
It's possible. No, we're not really to. I definitely want to get involved.
When it comes to ideas, that's Miss Latifah Brown.
I definitely want to get involved.
She is the idea person.
And we need some young vibes in the place. I mean, we have a lot of
ideas for you. Like I told you, we had a lot of ideas.
A lot of vintage people. I'm the youngest one, and I'm 48.
Look at.
Yeah, not at all. But do you plan to do franchise this?
We talk about it. We think about it. It is in the plan, but it is a long term. Like you have to do your own thing and find your own formula and make sure that you have a strong formula before you go try and do it somewhere else. But one of the ideas that we are tossing around is a museum in a box. So you have, people in Georgia or New York who will call and say, oh, you do this and how can I? And I can't tell you how to find a building or rent a space or hire staff or whatever at this point, but I can, replicate some of the information that we have over there. And I can tell you if you find a little Sadayan and a little...
Or you could do pop-ups.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So we would
no, but
give them
you do the pop-ups.
No, I can't bother with that.
You
But
do
I
the
said this
pop-ups.
place don't pay me a dollar.
You do the pop-ups. No, think about it. It's just like an artist. You do the pop-ups and then you do the Island Space tour.
Yeah.
We
But you can also sell paintings, some of your own paintings. You
Yeah.
do paintings, right?
I don't do that anymore. I don't do it anymore. But no, we bring in various artists and as a matter of fact, if you're coming by the museum, every few months you come in here, you're gonna see it's almost like you come into a different space because a different set of artwork in here.
I'll take
and it's
one whenever you
always-
decide to switch them.
Yeah, I just paid for that one over there. And I paid for one that was hanging on the wall over there. So when
They're
the show
very nice.
switches out,
Them look like Maroon type of situation.
All right. So, who is Calibe?
Calibe.
Sorry.
Everybody like
Caribe.
I'm
sorry.
Used to like to call me Calibe.
I'm sorry.
I actually like it. I don't mind it.
It's spicy.
I know. But
Calibe. Who's Calibe?
Calibe can you know. Who am I? The girls that no, not the girls. I'm sure. No.
Outside of the museum, outside of all of the philanthropic work that you do, who are you?
Yeah, we're going to touch upon you now.
What gets to your business? Me are the first one. Yeah.
I'm a very quiet lady. I'm actually an introvert.
What sign are you?
Sagittarius.
Oh dear God.
Yeah,
I don't believe in that stuff. but,
I do.
That's different.
I do.
She's my sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't
you're
see the resemblance.
December 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 48 next Saturday on November 23rd.
You don't look a pinch over 40, my dear.
Thank you so much. I'll take it.
Ray.
But yeah, next Saturday. And yeah, so I am fairly introverted to a certain extent. I don't know how introverted you can be when you're a performer and you know, a public speaker.
That was my next question, actually.
So I enjoy public speaking. I enjoy performing. I enjoy doing things when there's a story element to it, or when I'm speaking about or presenting something I'm particularly passionate about. But for me to just sit down and shoot the breeze with people.
I don't think you're
What
introverted.
do you mean? What's shooting the
I
breeze?
wasn't considered introverted. If an introverted person hates being around people, number one.
All right, pause. I am introverted.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But due to the nature of my work, I have no choice but to mingle with the earthlings. So I have no choice. But you can be introverted, but then we're extroverted around the right people, around our people.
Yeah, you can have both sides. So you asked me about me in my personal life. In my you came in here this evening and I said a few things, and then I was off in the corner by myself and kind of peeking around the wall and thing. But you know, there are people who will come in and see you and they'll have a conversation with you and don't stop talking, and you turn on the camera and I guess we're the opposite.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you're introverted
yes,
because
we
of
are.
these
Yes, we are.
evidence that you've presented. Just stated that I don't think you're fully introverted. I have friends that are introverted, not even me, them that like their own sometimes. Like, they want us to be home, watch TV, and do nothing.
But you cuss me about that, sir.
No, but
You
you
cuss me,
choose
but
to
you-
be. That's different.
It's not choose. I'm just naturally introverted.
No, me not
We have that inside something there.
Introverted extroverts and extroverted.
Introvert.
Yeah, there's people who have those qualities, but that's not who you are. You know, you got to be careful how you put words when it comes to you talking about
You're
yourself.
what sign again?
I'm a Cancer, and I don't believe in any of that stuff either, man. I'm just saying.
It believes in you.
Calibe,
Yes.
what's the wildest thing you've ever done that you can say on camera?
That I can say on camera. Wild. I don't.
Wild
Like,
slash
you don't look
fun.
like a wild person.
She have it in her.
I'm so docile.
You're there.
I don't know. I'm
You, where's it, both parents?
yeah.
Both parents.
Yes.
Okay.
Missy used to go immaculate. So you must do some wild stuff. Even there's an uptown school, no bad.
No. I
When
was
they
the
did
most
bad.
boring. And I was a chubby child. I stopped eating when I was like 14 and lost 40 pounds over like 4 months.
And they are bad after.
No.
That's a good story, though.
Give us the tea.
No, there was no tea.
So
A girl look at me one day and call me a fat cow.
As I was gonna ask if you were bullied into.
She was a bully. I won't call her name. This is Malcolm. if anybody went to school with me, but anyway, she looked at me one day and called me a fat cow, and I just stopped eating.
There's nothing
That was
at
my
all.
wild story. I know.
There's nothing at all.
No, I mean I would have like a chicken leg and a glass of orange juice.
That's it?
I did, yeah. I did that for like 3 weeks.
So did you keep that up throughout?
No. You know, you if you're a chubby person, come on.
What's a new diet? Chicken like an orange juice.
Yeah.
Remember Jamaica, that stuff you don't really get a lot of weight from.
No, but chicken like an orange juice.
Yeah.
It's high protein, acid.
But it's not
works.
processed.
It wasn't healthy. It
Yeah,
wasn't healthy, and
not
I suffered
processed.
for it.
But it worked.
But it
It
worked.
worked for the moment, and ting.
Are you married with kids?
Not married, no children. I have nieces and nephews who I love dearly.
That's Sagittarius.
Yeah.
No, Tifa, that is just you.
I love
Is there a reason for that? Because I was gonna ask, with touring, with business, with all these things, does that? I have a question for both of you guys. Does it have a strain on your personal or dating life, family life, being out there? No, you.
I misses your interview.
It's a question
I'm
is for
very
both of you guys.
particular. I don't know if you're very particular. I'm very particular, and like I've always known what I don't want. I could never tell you what I want exactly, or I tell you what I want and then I get it and it's like, I don't know, it not really impressed me. And so yeah, that has been my challenge. I just haven't come across anybody that I want to settle down with.
Tifa, yeah, I'm waiting before I say anything about what she said.
You know what? We are lovers and nurturers.
You want this sign business?
No. I'm just saying I'm a lover. I'm a
Yeah,
nurturer.
talk about yourself. Yes.
But I'm not the most, I would say, affectionate.
That is not because of your sign, though.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying overall. I'm just saying I'm not necessarily the most affectionate.
But I feel
I'm
like
thinking about it, and I think that is.
We are not necessarily, and it's crazy because I will love you to the moon and back and be jumping up and down inside. But you're like, hey, baby, and I'm like, what's up, bro?
Not very, very huggy.
Yeah, we're not very huggy.
I mean, I am with my nieces and my nephews.
That's the thing.
I am with my nieces and my nephews.
But why is that, though?
I don't know.
Is that like something that
When I'm with
happened?
somebody, me hug them up and
Yeah, but it's not. Us having this conversation, it's not over. You know, like how some girls are like, oh my God, baby, this. I'm going to talk to you like 16 times a day.
Yeah.
I'm not that person.
I like those type.
That's you. You're Cancer. You're sensitive. You like them something there.
That is not the reason why.
That is the
Excuse
reason
me.
why. But I mean, I think
sometimes it's things that happen to people in their younger stages of their
Yes,
lives.
I know, but I think personally for me, I'm a very result. It's like what she said, she know what she don't want. I'm a very result-driven person. So, may I assess?
Yeah.
Throughout this whole thing, we're assessing. Throughout this whole thing, I'm assessing. Okay, I don't want this, but you're doing all of the things that I don't want.
Right.
And it can't just take that one thing for trigger. I mean, but I'm just a weird person.
I just think sometimes, like, even for me, I had this long list of things that I wanted, and when the person I'm with now, when I got all of that, I was like, this is not what I had on my list, but I like this.
Right.
This is nice.
Right.
But I feel like sometimes having a list sometimes can throw off a balance in a way.
I know other people who wrote down their list and poof, they got the exact person that they wanted.
Right,
Also true, 'cause you can manifest it.
nothing do.
Yes, you can.
I write down Sarah prayer and say the prayer and I am Sunday and it do work. So
Almost
I don't
right.
know.
Almost
But you know
right.
what's crazy? I was having this conversation with somebody today. I was talking to one of my DJs today and I was having, man, him cool, I was having this conversation and I was just like, you know what? I started to go back. You know what? Let me not say this. It's okay. Forget it. Forget it.
So all right.
That's a problem. Forget it. Scrap that.
What is one thing about, or I'm gonna say, Caribbean culture that you think needs to change?
I'm going to say the type of division. There is okay. When it comes to music, sports, and food, I think we're very unified. Like if we're watching the Olympics, we go first going cheer for our country, then anybody else from the Caribbean, and then the rest of them, right? If it comes to food, well,
Who's next? Who's next after we win or lose?
She might come from USA, but her mother come from Jamaica, so we would fair.
Exactly. You might go USA, or you might go Africa, or you might go Brazil, whatever, like that. And then, so sports, we do it. Music, I think most of us like the same kind of Afrobeats, reggaeton, reggae, soca, there's a unity there. And then the food, because sometimes Jamaican people will be like, why the peas not in there, right? Kind of thing. With
Chicken curry chicken.
One of the best, so we can always judge it based on that
Chicken
standard.
curry
If
chicken.
you've ever had the Haitian rice and peas, and like everybody thinks a little different.
If you're ever in South Florida on a Friday night, come through to Seduce Friday Nights in South Florida in Lauderdale Lakes at Bliss Nightclub each and every Friday night. We got a diverse music for you. We got hip hop, dancehall, Afrobeat, reggae. We got everything for you. Soca, you name it, we have it. On a Friday night at Bliss Nightclub. We start at 11 a.m. Gets up at 11. Usually, ladies are free before 12:30 with RSVP. So go to Seduce Friday Nights on Instagram. Hit the link and go RSVP for the ladies. All right. Also, on a Friday nights, right, the ladies come out in their numbers. So, fellas, if you want to find you a new one, that is where you need to be at. Seduce Friday Nights each and every Friday. Bliss Nightclub. I'll see you there.
Well, I love the black.
No offense, Leo.
Me love the black beans and rice and rare. As a matter of fact, I have some Spanish, some Cuban food over there to eat when I finish. But anyway, so food, music, sports, I think there is always a unity.
Yes.
Beyond that, it is a challenge for us. I mean, I love that as a Caribbean museum, we have Bahamian events and the Bahamian people bring out their crowd, and Barbadian events and you see the Barbadian people bring out, and the Jamaican bring out their crowd, and the Haitians bring out their crowd. You put on a Haitian event here, and we promote it and say it's a Haitian event and try and bring in the community at large. They're not coming.
Just Haitians coming.
So I don't know if I don't think it's a language barrier, because even among the English-speaking Caribbean, maybe it's something like a jerk festival, you will see them come out. When we do the rum cake festival, everybody comes out. Maybe the mango festival, everybody comes out. But other than that, there is not a unity. And that is the thing that I would like to see change the most.
I think we have to fix it within ourselves first, because there's also a division amongst each culture where some of us find it hard to come together, like you said, outside of those things. So if you realize with Jamaicans, if it's not a party or, like I said, sports playing, the general stuff, like even the event we did here the other day, that's not even a norm. That's outside the norm. For a lot of people wouldn't leave the most come just for that. And I'm happy I came because it was very informative. There's a lot of things I needed to know. And I feel like even with the elections and going on, even in Jamaica, like, they don't have these conversations. They have the typical conversations about who's for win and this and that. But with these type of events happening where we can bring people together to learn, these things don't happen. So if we don't fix that amongst ourselves, we cannot socialize that way with other cultures. Because we still have division and fighting amongst ourselves just the same. And it's just the same as you have a product, and instead of Jamaicans being the highest consumer of that product that this Jamaican produces, then they're not supporting that product as much as they should to bring it to a certain level. Fashion, and not about alcohol, because even alcohol companies know, a lot of those the biggest alcohol companies that's considered Jamaican are not owned by a Jamaican. Because I'm not knocking them, but Ray Nephew, all of them, they're owned by Campari. Campari is not a Jamaican-based product. Get what I'm saying? Root Boy Rum is a Jamaican-based product. And we need to rally around our own. Like, I was talking to Conscience the other day about when he started the Cons shoes brand. I said, listen, we don't have that. We can't say we're going to support that Jamaican shoes brand because we don't have one to support. And that was a great brand because the quality was good, the branding was good, everything was good.
I remember when that came out, everybody had the bags, had the shoes.
Exactly.
It was a thing.
And I feel like we were ready to rally around that, but the business side of their thing just didn't gel and didn't work. So it's on both ends where we don't know how to do business, but also we don't know how to build up each other in that aspect. So I feel like if we don't fix that, I don't care how you want to socialize, but you're not going to socialize properly with other cultures. You know what I'm saying?
I have to say, I don't find that, well, no, I was going to say something that's not true. I was going to say I don't find that we really tear down each other culturally, but I do recall when I came from Jamaica, there was a vibe about, who better, this one better than the Cuban, better than Haitian, better than Jamaican, better, there was that little ning.
It's still there. If you're on Twitter, you see. It's always war on Twitter. They feel like Jamaicans act like, they're above everybody else. Like, it's still there.
Confidence is confidence. confidence. What are you going about it? I don't know.
Yeah, we're proud people. I would say that, but
Yeah.
also having the spirit of cooperation is also a thing too.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think we tend to lead in that way. The number one complaint we hear in the museum is, why so much Jamaican things in here? And I will always flip it back on people and say, I have the same problem. Could you please bring something from your country? And yeah, coming back next week. Oh no, them can't reach, and then they come back in and they complain again. So, sorry if you're listening and you're not Jamaican. I'm just encouraging you to please.
Yeah, share your
Bring
culture.
yes, I'm not beating you up about it. I know life happens and thing, but the reason that there is a museum is that you can complain about something or say you want to see it, or you can get up and do it.
Right.
And we got up and we did it.
And it's working great. Like, even though I'm doing a Friday night event, and the people who own the spot that I'm partnering with to do the Friday night event, they're Trinidadian people. They're some of the best people I ever met.
Right.
And being honest with you, some of the most down-to-earth, honest people I ever met. And if I was closed off to that, I would have probably never met them because, yeah, so some of the best people I met are Bahamian and Trinidadian people.
Yeah.
Outside of my culture. You know, it's like there's still good people among us, But some of the best people, like I don't have to watch my back and stuff like that, is the Trinidadian people. And they're some of the best people I've met, So I feel like if we don't fix our little small things that's going on within our little community.
I don't know how you fix humanity as a whole, because anyway, let me leave the election and all them things. I don't know.
We're not go too political with it.
Yeah, trying to fix any society or culture. I don't know what that looks like or how it happens. We can only, teach your nieces and your nephews and your children
the right way.
I think we have to go to the root of the problem, which is our history and how that affected us. I feel like a lot of people don't even have a clue how slavery, and when I really researched it, slavery was worse than people think it was. Like, people were being skinned alive and all these things. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So those traumatic situations that is just passed down from those days, it just looks different now.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's the same trauma that we're just
packaged in a different way.
In a different era.
And, I think I started saying this before and got off track, but the keeping of history that they do in the Viking era and the colonial, the kings and the queens and whatever, that we did not do. We have the opportunity now to tell whatever versions of those stories that we can dig up from the past. But one of the things that we want to do is contemporaneously right now be telling the stories of what is happening right now in life, in our history as it is being made. Document all of those things so that 50 years from now, we have accurate information about what is going on today. And I think that's part of being a steward of history, is not just the past, but your present and preparing for.
So what about music now? Right? You were in music for, you said, how much years?
Many.
What is the difference you see now with our music? What are the changes you're seeing right now?
I don't. I've actually stopped listening to a lot of music. I stopped listening to it. Like, you used to hear the old people them, but that's not music anymore. I'm one of them.
You turned into them people.
I turned into them. No, I shouldn't say that. It just, I don't go out anymore. You get old and party have to done by 10 o'clock.
What party are you going to?
Yeah, old people.
Party done 10 o'clock.
You don't worry about it. Me not staying nowhere after 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the night, right? But no, I've started this because I come to this country now and not listening to as much, underground radio or the Jamaican stations. I listen to a breadth of music, so I'm on Y100.
I radio about the upstairs.
I radio, yeah. Just I listen to a breadth of music more now, just like I eat a breadth of food more. And I rarely do I go to a Jamaican restaurant.
So what did you? Right, before we go there, so Tifa, tell me about.
This is not my interview.
Yes, but we want to hear your thoughts on it. Like,
Okay,
you're an
okay.
artist in this
Ask me.
space. You're currently artist in this space.
Sometimes.
You tried to retire before it never worked. Because he keeps calling you back. But I feel like for me, storytelling is missing. Even with reggae, not even just dancehall. Storytelling is.
You know what it is? I don't mean to cut you. You know what it is? Just like this museum here, we have lost the art of preserving culture within the music.
Facts.
You can't argue with these artists or kids nowadays are singing about scamming or, you know what I mean, or chopping the line or whatever.
I even Obia, but them not really
Whatever,
educated
but
about
that is what they're seeing.
Right. But them
This-
not educated about this thing what them are saying.
No, but what I'm saying is, but that is what they're seeing. That's what they're, even if they're not educated, but that's what they must see. That's what they must hear. You know what I mean? Their reality now and our reality is two different realities.
True.
You know what I mean? We never did think we'd have come see COVID.
Right.
You know what I mean? That is like a great part of their life and how COVID changed them life. And we did worry about 9/11. You know what I mean? We did worry about bombing and Elephant Man sing song about it, and then all of a sudden you have to take off your shoes to go through airport. It's two different realities. You know what I mean? So you can't knock them for their storytelling.
Right.
The issue is, how do we tie that in with drum and bass and what we know as dancehall and reggae?
That's awesome.
Because that is what the world wants
Yeah,
from us.
Yeah, that's what our standard is.
Exactly, that's what the world wants from us. That's why up to now, it's still, when we say so, hold on, and I'm not saying that the music cannot evolve, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that everybody should be a Sly and Robbie. You know what I mean? But you still have to maintain the core principles of who we are, not knocking any trap. You know what I mean? Or not knocking anybody experimenting. But you can't say you is a trap artist when all of the trap artists is here. Why would I want to see Kodak Black is here? Why would I want to see Anna Trippie Red is here? You know what I mean? It makes no sense. And then at the same time, there are people here that, oh my God, I want to come to Jamaica. I want to hear patois. I want to hear dancehall. I want to raft on the rafts. They want to be us and we're trying to be them. How it work?
Right.
How do we capitalize on us, but at the same time still be ourselves and still tell the stories of now?
I agree with that, and I agree with the authenticity of what is Jamaica. But talking about disruption, reggaeton came about by somebody coming and pilfering what we had and merging it into what they were doing. And it became bigger, you know, their version of them both bigger than what our
But
version
we didn't
was.
know, I agree, but at the same time, guess what? We never aspired to be them.
Yeah.
They aspired to be us.
Then-
So you see where the confusion is?
True.
One time gone, hip-hop artists used to fly to Jamaica. Remember?
Everybody
you know?
wanna be
Fusions,
us.
everybody wanted to be
They
the
don't
man,
do
the
that?
collab. Not as much as before, no.
Oh, because there's no superstars.
No, I'm gonna say that. It's like what Tifa is saying.
Not
We have a
only
base
that,
model. We have a base model, right? Like when you talk about Jamaica, that is what they're gonna point to.
Right.
If it's a Jamaica music, they're not gonna talk about a new artist.
Right.
That-
They're gonna
oh,
say Sean Paul.
a base
They're gonna
model.
say Vegas. They're gonna say Sham. They're gonna say Beanie Man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's not like they're.
That's what I mean when I say there's no stars anymore. When
They're
the
not
music was
working-
the authentic original versions of what it was. When who did the first?
we had global stars. Exactly.
Was Coca-Cola back shape mama?
Yeah.
That first version of that is what was the new style of dancehall to me, and that carried forward. I know there was dancehall from Yellow Man,
Before,
whatever.
yeah.
But that for me, when I was 14 or whatever it was, and that rhythm came out, that for me was when I knew what dancehall
was.
And it was a new thing. It was that little doom that carried on until yesterday.
But
Right?
it's still drum and bass.
Still drum and bass. It's still our version of things.
Exactly.
And as I hear Afrobeat, I'm like, hold on, is that?
Yes, it is. It's a merger between both of them. But back to the point, Calibe. Where the disconnect is that, as I said, with the reggaeton, we weren't trying to be reggaeton artists. We were being ourselves. They wanted a piece of what was the dembo. Doom, 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 doom. They wanted a piece of that. So the disconnect is here because everybody loves the Jamaican culture and everybody wants to be Jamaican and everybody wants
And it would be so
the
cool
authentic
if we
dancehall.
evolved our own thing rather than
Exactly.
absorbing
So
other
they want to come here and then they want to be this and we want to be this.
Right.
So it's like it's two planes passing each other. How do we stick to the core principles of who we are but still tell the stories of now? Because when you check the levels, the trap artists them or the young artists, rap artists them over, they're singing about the same things. They're singing about scamming. They're singing about this, literally the girls, drugs, same things.
Even
What they
drugs.
must, exactly. They're singing about this popping mark, they're singing about the same things. You know what I mean? But why would I go here for this when I already have it here?
Right. I agree.
And I feel like we're allergic to criticism You know, yeah. Because you talk to a lot of these dudes and say, hey, I don't feel that's the right way to go. He's going to be upset about you even criticizing what he has.
But then, because if that, they'll tell you that's what the market want because that's what everybody's putting out. But then here comes a Chronics or here comes a Protege.
Yeah, but at the same time, look here.
And you just feel like I've a breath of
fresh air. But not only that's about, I mean, it doesn't have wings.
I don't think that it doesn't have wings. It's a case where I don't hear much of the storytelling in there.
No, but what I'm saying
Chronics is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
When I say wings, I mean in the sense that yes, within the demographic, you might come to Florida, you might come to New York, you might, maybe Atlanta. You're within the demographic and you might go to the Caribbean places, but again, there are no like global superstars outside of the diaspora. Yeah. If you get what I'm saying.
I don't know that Bob had wings. Bob had Chris Blackwell. Shaggy had Livingston. I mean, there are, people that when they mesh, talent and management that when they mesh, they make things happen.
Yes.
And I don't know that those combinations, like Babyface and what's his name?
Again,
Michael Jackson and
Michael Jackson and Quincy.
The disconnect.
Yeah, so.
All right, so reggae was a thing where when you close your eyes, it takes you to a place. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah.
I can't say there's a new song, other than maybe YG Marley's song have a vibes, yes. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I don't see a song now that will take you to that place. Because Chronics was that person, like I said, a breath of fresh air.
Right.
You take a break. There's nobody really carrying that. But I like Protege, but I think he needs to just improve on his storytelling also, because he does put good music together, but the storytelling aspect, like when Chronics a Smile for Me Jamaica, is like your mind goes there, your feeling goes there. I don't feel like we truly have that anymore. That's my opinion. Like I travel a few countries, right? And I remember I was in Singapore, and when I went to Singapore, I said, "Where you from?" I'm from Jamaica. And the person was like, "Yo, where is that?" I was like, "Bob Marley." I was like, "Oh,
exactly."
Exactly. They only know Bob Marley and Usain Bolt. That's the only thing, and they don't know anything else about the country.
Yeah.
What other artists can you say can have as that impact other than like Shaggy and Sean Paul?
Right.
That's what Tifa was saying.
Not
like,
even Shaggy and Sean.
Global stars out of Jamaica. We're not building that anymore, and I feel like the absence of what we used to call the gatekeepers, which you can't come in a studio door if you don't make sense. Right. If you go in a studio and you sing nothing with sense, Jammies still come out.
Would even call it gatekeepers per se. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? As opposed to us just having a standard. Yeah. No, there is not a standard. Now with the advent of technology, everybody can say, "Yo, me a producer, I'm bad." And if you have a couple dollars, you can go pay to select on your song play, or you can go run a TikTok campaign and you're viral. Okay. You know what I mean? Before
it's good and bad, though.
It is good and bad. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because now you have promotion at your fingertips there. Yeah. You know, if you walk with the CD or the record.
If you're good, you don't have to be beholden to those same
Exactly.
Keepers. But I remember when Lenky did the Wally rhythm and Rory came and said to me, Calibe, I remember when Lenky did come in a studio and play the rhythm and everybody would laugh after him because it just sound like a bag of nice. And that was the biggest. It
still is the number one selling rhythm of all time. Mm-hmm.
That he when play around for him thing. He's a keyboardist, he's not a drummer.
It still is. Okay. But again, you had to have a standard. If the song them never sound good, it would play. Like you understand what there's a standard now. And I think that's where the breakdown really lies. Like again, if you go in there and it's a jammies or you go Pentos, if your song not sound good, they're not gonna record you. You
that's
know what I mean?
You might come out times.
Yeah, if you're off key, come out. You know what I mean? And again, even it's not even just the producers, it's even the shows. And I said this, as much as the show kind of fall off now, Sting was a rite of passage for a lot of us, because if you couldn't work, especially as a DJ,
if you can't go up and entertain
the crowd, couldn't go up there and entertain the crowd and then back that is the end of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You had to no, when them go up, they go do karaoke, sing. Them would have back till you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So again, you had to uphold to a particular standard. Mm. That's why you have the Beanie Mans, the Bounty Killers. You know what I mean? Spice.
Yeah.
Myself, if you like. You know what I mean?
Yourself too.
Because you're upheld to a standard, and I think that's what the problem is now. We need to set back a standard. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with even Afrobeats. Them take pride in them thing. Them take pride in them sound. They take pride in how they look. They take pride in even the simple dance moves that they are doing. You know what I mean?
I love it.
And a lot of it is not even words. You know what I mean? When they really think about, look on it, and I say this all the time, when they really think about Egyptian, I say, ooh, I never felt so right. And then you hear Rema say, and the whole song,
Yeah, but that's the vibe.
Exactly, but it's how it's done, it's how it's packaged, it's how there is a standard to it.
Exactly, it's an underlying standard to all of it.
Okay.
So I feel like that, like she said, I totally agree. That is what's missing. All of those factors. It's gonna be tough because, like them said, them call it ancient, but that's our base model.
Right.
People look to Jamaica, and I look to Jamaica for what we're producing right now.
No, listen, them just need for drop them socks.
And we are, dancehall and reggae is the soundtrack for a lot of these islands. We go whole heap of islands, them not like for them music, like they don't even have music. Some of them don't even have music. They listen to dancehall and reggae.
You know what I've seen, even with Trinidad in the last probably 4 or 5 years, they have an active dancehall scene now.
So they play soca carnival.
They play soca, but them for them soca DJ. Them for them Trinidadian DJs now. So
because now with Trinidad, it was when carnival time, that's their soca time. Like Trinidadian is telling me that after soca season done, I dance out. You know. So I feel like even that being here, some of those stories being told in the museum about even when Beanie Man get Boa Stadium and him still come back and still come
be one of the greatest,
yeah, those are stories I feel like needs to be told in here.
There's a reggae genealogy panel that we do 2 or 3 weeks before the event, and I think this is a great kind of topic, a great kind of discussion.
We can talk about Skia, the invention of Skia.
I think that was an invitation to invite us. You're not read between the lines.
It sounds like it. Yeah, but we're very.
You're not read between the lines.
Yes, because we're all in music, so we have our own opinions on it. Opinions, that's an opinions.
That's what it's all about. That's what these discussions that we have here are all about.
So let me ask you, right? What are things that you're open to accepting here? Like if somebody come and say, hey, I have this from my island and I want to...
Everything. And I'm going to tell you the things that we don't want. Literally everything.
I'm scared of everything.
Literally everything, right?
I'm literally scared of the things that you don't want.
I'm going to tell you, the things that we don't want is things like your little craft market, your little posters, your little, things that I don't want your junk. But if you have a jacket from when your grandfather was in the army, or you have a commemorative plate from 1962 when your island became independent, or you have books from your childhood.
What about a picture though? Like pictures of, like when we used to play marble or some stuff like that.
We pick and choose the pictures. There's some over there that are like you can see the signature on it, or whatever. It is a part of coming from a quality collection.
Right.
But if it's some,
that's a regular ass picture.
Yeah, that's not a regular ass picture. No.
You need like collectibles.
It has to be collectible. Whatever it is has to be collectible. And I'm gonna say, when they started the African American Museum in Washington D.C., a guy named Lonnie Bunch was the founder of that. He was coming out of the Smithsonian enterprise, and I watched somebody said to me, watch his video. If you're trying to do a museum, watch how he talks about putting that thing together. And they did a tour around the country, and they said to people, go into your attic, into your basement, into your garage, into your storage closet, and look for all of those, the old passport, the old birth certificates, the old, whatever those things
immunization card.
Whatever it is from your family's history, and if it is important to your family's history, but it's going to end up in the garbage pile, carry it, come.
We throw away a lot of that stuff.
And so many people have said to me, if I'd known about this place, we just dash away a whole heap of XYZ. When we actually started the museum, when Auntie Maisie came and said, give me back my something, and we, she said to me, go find your own things and do it on your own. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go do it on my own. The people at the at customs or whatever it name laugh, cause them not customs, whatever the shipping company laugh, cause them said them never say a barrel leave Jamaica for come and fire it.
No.
I went into my mother's home. And I think I had an appreciation from living with her because she's one of these people who appreciate our own family history.
Right, like a historian.
Sad iron, self-heating iron, Dutch pot, coal stove, everything.
That is my, it's called hoarding in America, and that is my mom. But you can't tell him that I'm a hoarder.
It wasn't, for her, it wasn't hoarding. I saw these pieces as artifacts in my home. It might have catch a door and it might have go up on top of the kitchen, up on top of the shelves or whatever, but they were art in the home. And so when I started doing this museum thing,
my mother watched this, by the way.
I go into the house and I start just kind of pack some little tea. My mother is like, excuse me, where are you going with that? Don't worry about it. Just, pack my little barrel and thing. And she's like, Calibe, I want me something. Then I'm like, Mommy,
you're not using
it catching up a door.
But it's the best purpose for it.
I say, if you don't like it when you come up there, I'll promise you I'll send it back to you.
Listen, my mother don't make sure watch this because I'm throwing the fire things to them.
Oh, Jesus.
So
she
but so many, as I said, so many things, even something simple like the brick front.
Yeah.
Like what Jamaican household never have. The whatnot, the brick front, the little frill dog, something like.
Yeah.
And she came, the first time she came in here and saw her thing, because people were here, you have a museum and them thing is a little old broke down house and you little old broke down thing them. I set up my thing them nice. It must look first world when people come in here, they must feel like, this is
a thing, yeah.
Right? It must feel like an experience when they come in here. And she came in here and she saw her things on the glass cases in the nicely lit. And she's like, and she started bring her friend them because no longer give me back my thing. Them is like,
she never said to you, what else you need?
Basically, she actually started recruiting and her friends have donated things and money and whatever. So there's a sense of pride. There's a sense of pride of place when your things are in here and you can say, this is a part of my family legacy that's going to be in here forever. I don't know if you noticed that pretty lady on the wall over there. That's my mother.
I was looking at it though. I was looking at it.
We lost her in June of this year.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. She was on our board of directors. I only just recently can look at it and don't ball, right? But she was on our board of directors from day one when we started this museum. She was there with us and whatever. And although me have to fight her from we started the non-profit, although I had to fight her to bring the stuff in here, she was one of our biggest advocates.
Yeah.
And I would say to people all the time, that pride of place that she had, she just became like a champion, everywhere everybody should see, she tell about. Find it our daughter thing, whatever. But, she had her own pride in here because of the stuff that she had put in.
Right.
That you walk in there now, you see Clover Thompson name all over stuff in there.
One thing that really hit me when I was walking through was the kite. That took me back to like infant school.
Yeah.
I used to buy those because I could make them. So the first kite, I bought it, watched like everything, how he made it, everything, and then I learned how to make my own.
We have one about 4 times the size of that around, or maybe 8 times the size of that.
Because I used to go to Jacksall. I don't know if you guys know about Jacksall Kite Festival. That's where I used to go when I was younger, and I actually want to bring one here. I really, really want to bring a kite festival here, but the expenses, it's just too much. Because you have to fly somebody up from Jamaica actually to build those size kites, or find somebody here that's able to.
There's kite builders locally. The one that I'm telling you is super big around the back. My friend from Jamaicans.com, Xavier, had it made for the museum. As a matter of fact, I wonder if we can hang it. We can hang it over there.
I think you should. Because the kites I used to saw.
Black, green, and gold. People are going to say it's too Jamaican.
The kites I saw that
do a standard color. They're like a blue and white. Sorry.
That's the one that was given to us. So I would put up the one that was given to us. It was made for us.
And I think even something like, I was looking at it like she said the peel, the chimney, I don't know if you have a coal stove back there. Coal stove.
See Jack Sambal, I'm not seeing it forever.
Where did you see that?
The Jax is one in one of the cases.
A Jax? I haven't seen that in years.
Jax.
You have a gig back there too?
There's a gig back there, yeah. There's a gig. There is all kind of something over there. Domino's is common fare. We actually have a loaded board in the back, but there's no space for it.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can hang it on the wall.
On the wall, hang it high, hang it on the flat back.
Yeah.
Maybe Leah can give some suggestions about the Haitian side.
That's what I was just about to say. What intrigued me was the Haitian glass case with the candles, with the doll, with the.
So what about the history of even voodoo? Do you have any?
So as you walk around the museum, remember I said to you that it's kind of segmented by theme, and so yes, religions are a theme over there.
There's an
and although right there. Although somebody came in there and caused me, Christianity is the biggest. religion in the Caribbean. I'm like, yeah, but that's not a Caribbean religion, right? I mean, things like Haitian voodoo, because there is voodoo in Africa, but Haitian voodoo, Obia, Shango, Rastafari, you know, those things are Afro-Atlantic religions, they're called. And we have it with the size of space that we have in here. I like to say that we're telling the history of the region in the size of tweets. But you know, it's little bits and pieces of information. But when we're able to do our cultural exhibits in here, that is when you will see, like, you know, the stories of the various women who have changed the face of the Caribbean. I don't think we've done religions yet. We've done carnivals and festivals around the region. We've done the story of emancipation around the region. And we can dig a little bit deeper into those stories when we do the kind of their pop-up exhibits inside of this.
So you're gonna fill this middle space, or you're just gonna leave it open for when you're doing events, you just move these and this?
Yeah, when we do events, this is the space. Yeah, man, just like when you were here.
I know, that's what I was asking, because I feel like this space you can also put some artifacts down and in the space too.
We don't do it stays in the exhibit hall, so that's the exhibit hall. But yes, we have done cultural exhibits where we take those walls in the back and put the stories back there, and then this side remains as the art exhibit. So yeah, the space, we've made it so it can be as flexible as possible. Begin with the end in mind. Yeah.
And I appreciate you having us here to even talk about it. Like I said, I really want to come back where we could talk about different topics, because I like talking to people that's not just giving me yes and no answers.
Yeah,
so the type of people I like
talk a lot.
Yes. So I like to talk just the same. I have good conversations because I learn that way. That's what the podcast is called, Student to Life Podcast. But before we go, what I want both of you guys to do for me today.
Why am I in this?
Why are you not in this?
I am a guest host. This is Calibe's interview.
I know, but
leave me alone.
No, no. And by the way, we have a radio show we're starting soon, so look out for that. We're gonna roll it out properly, because she have her ideas and things where she wants to do it, and I won't interrupt her ideas because she has some great ones. But before we go, what I want you guys to do for me is something you've learned this week, this month, this year. I want you to share with everybody. Drop a gem for our listeners before we go. Tifa, I'm gonna start with you.
Oh gosh, why me?
Sure. Anything. It could be about love, it could be about life, it could be about family, it could be about anything.
I mean, just the motto. Life goes on. No, for real. Just the matter. Whatever.
Give us a little bit more on that.
No, whatever happens, life goes on. Whether you die tomorrow, life goes on. Whether you stay with a person, or you break up with a person, or you enter into a new business venture, or you decide to stay put, life is gonna go on. Life goes on. It's just where you're gonna fit yourself in that space of life moving, because it's gonna move regardless.
Without you.
Exactly. Life goes on.
Okay. That was a quick one.
So I've learned this year for myself, this is not like a new thing, but for myself, to take time for myself. I don't know if you can kind of surmise from the litany of things that I have done and accomplished in life. I've been a very busy girl, right? And I have not, within that, taken time to just smell the roses, enjoy life. Having lost my mother this year, you know, one of the things that she did very well at teaching her children was, as I say, enjoy life. Like, she would go and vacation in Jamaica. She lived in Jamaica and would vacation in Jamaica. She'd go to the North Coast, and I knew what Ocho Rios and Negril and Portland and I knew what everything looked like everywhere, because she took us and just did stuff because she feel like it.
Yeah.
It don't have to be no vacation. If she feel like it's a weekend and she want to go do something, she just went and she did it. And I have not been doing that. I've just been like, oh, I need to build a museum, oh, I need to start a company, I need to write a book. And you just keep going and going. And it takes a moment when the most important people in your life leave you for you to realize that you have to, as you say, enjoy life. Take them, prioritize the people who you care and you care about and you love. And this museum means the world to me. It is work. I'm not going to say it's not work, but sometimes I have to just tell them, say, no, I'm going to deal with it. If it's up down, somebody else fix it. And so taking that time for myself is a thing that I have learned this year. Yeah.
That was a valuable one.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been thinking a lot about this week, and it's I dived a little deeper into it, which is the voices that you have in your head, this is your subconscious mind, what you feed it with. I feel like a lot of people, the people that overthink are one of those people that you have that voice in your head that you talk to, and that is your subconscious mind, right? In the book, Interview with the Devil, he talks about his shadow self, where that being the person that you converse with, you feed that with so much positive thoughts and positive things that when you're ready to go to that for some advice, that's the advice you're getting back from that shadow self. And I feel like a lot of times we feed ourselves with gossip, we distract ourselves with so many different things that subconscious mind has nothing positive to give back to us. And I feel like sometimes surrounding ourselves with positive things, having positive conversations, you attract that type of energy also. So I feel like with us, we have to tune out some of those things that even if it's not true that you're telling yourself positive things like this is going to work out, the more you repeat it, you train your mind to see nothing but the positive.
You attract it back to you.
And they also attract that. So I feel like a lot of times words are very important. The things we say to ourselves are very important. Stop using the word if and use when. Like those are things that you have to catch yourself. Because a lot of times I have to catch myself from a negative thought. Like I would think about killing somebody sometimes. I'm like, yo, stop. Don't do it.
I can do it.
I had to talk myself out of that. So that shadow self is able to put you in check.
Right.
You know, and you're okay with that because you realize that you don't have everything right. And a lot of people think because you don't say it out loud and you're thinking in your mind that it's not a wrong thing. Like, yes, you have wrong thoughts too. But just to catch that thought and be like, yo, this is not right. And you think positive thoughts. And in the book, the discipline book I'm reading, it's one of those things we have to train it. It's a training thing. The more you do it, the more you tell yourself positive things. I'm beautiful, I'm a king, I'm this, I'm that. These things become a norm for you. Now it's like you're speaking it into existence. Because for Muslim people and for some Christians, they believe that God lives within. And that is who you talk to when you talk to yourself. Then you build that part of you up. So God made us in his image, right? And we have to treat our temple as such. And a lot of us don't talk to ourselves. We're not kind to ourselves. We're not graceful to ourselves. So I feel like that's my advice for this week. Just feed your mind with positive thoughts. Try to tune out the negative thoughts. If you can't, just repeat the positive thoughts to override the negative ones that are already there.
And if you can find positive people to surround yourself.
True. I don't know if this is positive or negative, but since you said this probably like 40 minutes ago, all I've been able to hear in my head is chicken leg and orange juice. Chicken leg and orange juice. Sorry. Chicken leg and orange juice. I'm sorry. I had to judge. Yeah.
That is not the regimen, by the way.
I do not advise it. It's just what was easy and available, and I could manage.
Hey, listen, what do you work?
You might be onto something. It's high protein.
No.
And I said
no.
You might be onto. I mean,
them chicken leg look like turkey leg. No.
Anyway, islandspacefl.org is our website, and all of our handles are either Island Space or Island Space FL. If you Google Island Space, if you Google Caribbean Museum, we're the only one that's going to come up.
We know it's in the Broward Mall, but address 800 West.
8,000 West Broward Boulevard, Suite 1202. I'm glad you did the homework and you got it. You had it right the first time. So yeah, man, it's in the northeast corner of Broward Mall.
That's the northeast entrance, right?
Northeast entrance, yes. You park in the northeast parking lot, and we're the one closest to Broward Boulevard.
And there's a flag banner that you're always going to have outside.
It's not always outside. The mall doesn't actually allow us to leave it outside all the time. I don't know how them not take it up yet, but it's usually up for events, and then we take it down after that. But
so it's to the right of... That's how I'll give the directions.
It is to the right of Buffalo Wild Wings, but way to the right of Buffalo Wild Wings.
So give us your social media, phone number, just saying it's a beautiful space, people, and they are renting it out for events. Well, so
yes, you can do your private events here. You can do your sip and paint. You can do your... We have an activity for children.
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
How loud can you do the music here?
We don't overdo it, so it's killing the people them in the mall.
How late can you go?
We don't start things after 7 p.m., but the door pushes outward, so at a certain point you can't come in, but you can leave. So they allow us, they give us leeway till 10, 11 o'clock.
It's not bad.
Ideas.
Oh Lord, the music.
And also your personal handles for.
I think it's Calibe Thompson. I'm not on social media as much as I should be.
Yes, you
but
should
I
be.
believe it's Calibe Thompson, Calibe.
Can they reach out to you if they have books to, publish? And
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah, that's Island. My company is Island Syndicate. This is Island Space, spelled properly, Island Syndicate, and this one is Island Space, and I'm Calibe, Calibe. There's more than one Calibe, but I will probably be the one that pops up wherever you look.
So yeah, I have a book. I told you about my little brainchild. So anyway, if you come,
Most of our books are done for municipalities and corporate and that kind of thing. But I'll look into individual authors. Haven't done it that way.
you never know. We might.
Listen, we're here to spice up. Exactly. We're your new marketing people.
That's something else. We'll take it.
Anyway, I want to extend my gratitude to both of you guys
Same
for being here
here.
today.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Thank you for sharing your time with me. I do appreciate it. You gave us a great interview, by the way, and I hope to have this conversation again. And Tifa, thank you for coming also, my dear. I know you're a busy lady with a lot of responsibilities.
And thank you all for joining the Island Space Committee family. Marketing and programming.
So it's
I love
official
it.
now, right?
I love it. It's official.
I'm gonna get to work.
It's unpaid.
All right, guys. Once again, thank you for coming. And thank you, everyone who's been subscribing, liking, comment, sharing. We do appreciate it. This is clean content that we want to put out there. This is not gossip. And we will see you again next time. Also, big up Rude Boy Rum. And we'll see
big
you
up to
again
Rude Boy
next
Rum.
time.
It is so good. White rum, red rum, and coconut rum.
And Tifa is our ambassador. So
What
she
is
can tell-
ZEM?
I need a drink when I leave.
Of course.
Yes. And we'll see you again next time, because we will be doing it again next time, whether with her or somebody else, but we're doing it here. And we're going to invite audience to come watch our next
Ooh, that's nice.
showing. That's what we're going to do.
I like that.
Yeah, see?
Okay, bye.
Okay, guys. Peace out.